Steve Kirkland. I'm Mark Hartley. We live here in the old 6th Ward. This is our house. We moved into the neighborhood back in 1986. First as renters, and we bought our house. Then we bought another house, and since then we've restored 10 to 12 structures. Something like that. And we've got a new project on the way. Soon to be the oldest oldest privately owned house in the city of Houston. We'll soon have a new life. Saved it from the wrecking ball, and the charm and character of old houses appeal to us. It's also a political thing because the neighborhood has been abandoned by anybody with money, or almost anybody with money, including the churches. So we were like pioneers in a way of people bringing new investment back into the neighborhood to keep it alive. Enjoyed the diversity of the people, the diversity of the architecture, the diversity of the economic strata that lived here at the time, and have enjoyed watching that diversity grow and change over the last time.
There's a big misunderstanding out there that any old house or any old house that's listed on the National Register automatically comes with all kinds of protections, and that's simply not true. Any protections for historic houses are done on a local level, so it's up to the city to enact and enforce laws that will protect the historic structures, and that so far has not really happened in Houston.
The other thing we'd point out is just because the house has got a little bit of faded paint on it, so the woodwork may be chipped, doesn't mean it should be torn down and tossed away. Restored and turned houses with far worse than that into gems and showpieces. It's worthwhile looking into it and protecting it.
I like the 6th Ward because it's close to downtown. I like the diversity of the neighborhood, and I like the difference in houses. Nothing's quite the same, but there's still a lot of common thread between all the architecture around here, and I love being close to Memorial. So, all right, I play in an Irish rock band called Blackguards, and we also like living in Houston because it's close to Austin and close to Dallas, and but we don't have to live there, and we like they like the neighborhood because we're close to everything. We have every major freeway. And there's also a lot of support around here for music.
I'm Ed Quillen.
I'm Carol Woodruff.
We're at 2115 Kane Street in the old 6th Ward. The reason that we selected this location was because it's inside the loop, very much inside the loop, and it's very convenient to downtown. Also, I tell my friends that if I blindfolded you and set you on my front porch and then asked you where you were, you'd have no clue. First off, you might say that you were in some small town in Texas, because that's the way it feels, just to look around it. And you've got the old houses and the streets that are kind of country streets, not city streets, and so forth. How about you?
Well, I agree, and I think another thing that makes the neighborhood really hospitable and why we wanted to come here was that people walk and people sit outside on their porches and they interact, and it's a real neighborhood with people that you know, and you see their kids growing up, and they're not being transferred here and there and having nothing but a big garage door between you and them. So that's another reason why we like it. And the other thing is that it's historical. It has some significance. It has had people living in it. We don't have a lot of places in Houston where someone could go back and say, this house was here when Lincoln was shot. We can say that, and that's important. It's part of our history. It's something that people who are just like us were doing back in the day. And that's the legacy of the neighborhood. We want to protect that. We feel like that's important, and that anyone who wants to can come down here and enjoy it with us. We have a lot of things going on here where people can participate with us, and that's what we like. So that's why we came. Plus the art car people.
My name's Diane Warren, and I live at 1910 Kane Street here with my husband. And this is our grandson, Roy, who at one time lived with us and now just lives a few blocks away. And we bought our house home in 1978 and love it. It's a big house and it requires a lot of work. And
with love and care. We moved into the community because of the community itself. It was a celebration of life and diversity, and it showed up with the architecture here and with the people that were wanting to live celebrating diversity and our heritage. So it's been a wonderful ride.
you want to say anything about the house or the neighborhood?
Yeah, the neighborhood be safe and townhouses being put up everywhere.
Ditto.
Well, that's, yes, the high-density townhomes don't support the kind that we chose to live in and chose to be committed to. I think there are places for high-density townhomes, but
not here.
Not in our historic neighborhood, our neighborhood, which is the first National Historic District in the city of Houston.
Yes.
And we're so appreciative of our neighbors that have, continued the effort to make sure that the city of Houston honors and recognizes historic preservation.
Hi, my name is Monica Zapata, and this is Gabriella Krieger. Monica Zapata Krieger, to be exact. This is my daughter, Gabriella. We're from the old 6th Ward neighborhood. Primarily, I came back to the neighborhood because I have a history here, lots of history here. I'm aware that my family actually lived and rented in the area in the early 1900s. And based on that, we have pictures. Trying to get them from family members if they would ever part with them. Hopefully I'll get that and have a little display for the old 6th Ward. But my reason for coming back to the neighborhood is that I didn't feel comfortable out there in the burbs. I just hated it. And coming back to old 6th Ward is like a dream come true for me because I'd grown up. These are my stomping grounds. I'd grown up around the MCCR church, rollerblading and roller skating down the streets of all of old 6th Ward. And I knew that this was home. This is my home. When my husband and I looked into buying a house for renovating, we were a young couple, not struggling financially, but didn't quite think we could afford a house to restore. So we went sort of the second best route, was to build a new faux Victorian, if you will, or faux Georgian house. But I think we did our best to make the house really fit in. Really looked like it belonged here in the old 6th Ward. Some of the comments was, wow, when did you restore that house? And to me, I take a certain pride in that because I think it's important to restore everything here in the old 6th Ward. And my thing that we did, I don't know if you can point up any here. Can you get any of the trim work? What we did here is, if you notice this particular trim work, this is sort of in the fashion of what an old Victorian or old Georgian or maybe Neo-Greek style trim work would be like. And I was fortunate to have a friend in the Heights that pretty much knows how this trim work is supposed to look. And even though I didn't restore an old house, I did my best to make it look like it fits right with the neighborhood. Because the importance of preservation is key, but also to have something that fits and that is unique to the character of the neighborhood. And that was important to me. The importance of building a house like this to fit with the character of the neighborhood was so important for me. And as well, my family history here. I just couldn't go anyplace else. Coming back to my old neighborhood brings back the old echoes and old voices of the past. And for me, that's what makes me a happier spirit.